I didn't say in. I did not say
you're
in.
Gonna either wait here or you're going to leave. You're not going in that near that vehicle.
I'm just going to go stand
You're
over
not
there.
going near that vehicle.
In Florida, cops can't legally demand your ID without reasonable suspicion of a crime.
There's no login.
Stop following us around! That's your last warning!
But that didn't stop these officers from trying. Let's dive in and watch these so-called law enforcers get wrecked by their own lack of knowledge.
Did I commit a crime? Did I commit a crime?
I want your license, registration, and insurance.
I'm asking you, did I commit a crime?
I will explain that in a second here.
Well, according to Nebraska state statute, all
I just asked you for your license,
Well,
your registration, and your proof of insurance.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, you're being video recorded and audio recorded.
So are you.
When Officer Tobler pulled over Steve that night, he thought he was dealing with just another citizen who would blindly obey his orders. But the moment Steve started asking the right questions, demanding to know what crime he had committed, the officer's shaky authority began to crumble.
2014, February 2014, insurance is still valid.
I'm asking you again, what am I being pulled over for? What am I being stopped for? Am I being detained?
23.
Not at the moment.
Well, can I have my license, registration, be free to go, please?
Why are you circling my crime scene?
I do not have to answer any questions without a lawyer present.
Okay, why are you constantly following us?
I do not have to answer any questions without a lawyer
Are
present.
you afraid?
I do not have to answer any
Okay.
questions without a lawyer
I'm
present.
going to tell you what. The next time you follow me to a crime scene or any scene of that nature, including a traffic stop or anything of that nature, I will arrest you for obstructing. Because one, you're taking away my focus on what needs to be.
Flustered and unable to justify the stop, Tobler scrambled for control, making vague threats and resorting to intimidation tactics. But Steve stood his ground, calmly asserting his rights while the officer spiraled into frustration.
Let me explain something to you.
Well, let me explain something to you. You don't run the law, you only enforce
Do
the
you
law.
want to go to jail for obstructing?
For what?
What
For
are
I'm
we,
driving down
what
the
is he
street.
You are
obstructing?
taking away from my duties right now.
All he's doing is driving down the street.
Do you want to go to jail too?
For what?
For
Obstructing.
what? Obstructing
Officer
what?
Hopfrock, what am I instructing by driving down the street?
Well, Stephen, what he's trying to explain is when you keep driving by and things like that, he has to take some focus away from what he's actually
So
trying
the
to do.
5 other cars that I've watched do the same thing, they're going to get stopped too tonight?
As the situation escalated, it became clear that these officers had no real understanding of the laws they were supposed to enforce.
There's no login.
Stop following us around! That's your last warning!
You got that.
Go ahead and record it.
We are.
Officer Tobler 612, no problem. Because you're a chicken shit, motherfucker! And you had no problem!
And when one of them lost his temper, hurling insults and even a physical object at Steve, they found themselves facing the very accountability they had tried so hard to avoid. When this private investigator was stopped in September 2020, the cop thought he had the upper hand until he realized he was dealing with someone who knew the law far better than he did. Demanding ID without reasonable suspicion, threatening arrest, and fumbling through legal justifications, the officer quickly found himself outmatched.
And then you were relocated here. This is what was dispatched.
Okay,
And
did
you're
you-
parked in front of somebody's house.
Did-
This is not a normal place for people to be parked.
Okay,
And I am asking you to identify yourself.
okay.
Okay? And you have to, by law, identify yourself. I need your ID, sir, to verify who you are.
I have to identify myself if you suspect me. Florida, is this a Terry stop? Am I being detained?
You are, right now. Yes, you
Under
are.
suspicion of what crime, sir?
Loitering and prowling.
Do you know what loitering is?
I do.
Under the
Sir,
statute,
here's what's
loitering?
gonna happen. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to give me your driver's license here in a minute, or you're going to go to jail for resisting.
Okay.
I'm being honest with you.
I'm going to give him a license, then I'm going to file an internal affairs complaint
you
on you
should.
for violating.
Even as the investigator schooled him on constitutional rights, the cop refused to back down, exposing his own ignorance in the process.
If you want to sit around and wait for a supervisor, you're more than happy to do that.
Well, you got no problem sitting here detaining me.
What? Do you want to sit around and wait for a supervisor?
I asked for a supervisor. I'd like for you to call a supervisor. I will be filing an internal affairs complaint against you. Not that your corrupt internal affairs will do anything about it.
You need to move your vehicle out from in front of your house.
Why?
So you need to move the vehicle out from your house.
So you're saying it's illegal for me to sit there?
Is there even a shoulder? You're parked in the grass. Is there even
It's
a
an
shoulder
easement,
there?
33 feet from the center line. Are you giving me a lawful
You're free to go.
command?
You can go. Or you can wait for the supervisor to come.
I'm going to wait for the supervisor.
Please. Don't go back in your vehicle.
Why can't I go back in my vehicle?
Because I'm standing out here and I don't know what's in your vehicle.
So once again, once the supervisor leaves and you leaves, am I allowed to sit there and stay there?
By the time the supervisor arrived, it was clear this wasn't about enforcing the law, it was about abusing authority. And these officers had just messed with the wrong guy.
Here, you've required me to show ID when I didn't have to. I'm sitting on the side of a road, I haven't broken a law, and you abused your authority. That gun and that badge doesn't give you abusive rights.
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Sure, go right ahead.
Do you have a house?
Do I have a
Do
house?
you live somewhere?
No, I live under a rock.
See, now, you're being sarcastic, and I'm just asking you honest questions. You're
What
getting
do you
upset. I'm not even
think?
So you live in a house. You got private property, right? So you, in your experience,
Yeah.
if somebody was parked right in front of your house like that vehicle is,
Yeah.
would that rouse your suspicion?
Perhaps, yeah.
Would you call law enforcement?
No.
You'd probably go out and handle it yourself.
Probably.
Would you arm yourself and go out there and do it?
May or may not.
Okay, well, not everyone has that courage, sir. They're not as brave as you. So that's when they call us, because this is who we swore our oath to. This is
Listen to me once again. In order to require me to ID myself, see,
this
you don't want to
conversation's
listen.
going in circles.
No, because you're not
You're standing
listening.
here for the supervisor. I don't particularly want to talk to you anymore. You're free to get in your car and leave.
No,
If you
see,
want to get in your car,
you're
you
not
can
listening.
leave, or you can wait for the supervisor.
I can tell by your body language, man. I'm a certified interrogator. I've been doing this job for 16 years. All right? Look at your body.
Yeah,
Look at your body language.
We can't have a conversation. I
Really?
tried to have a conversation.
What are we doing
And all
now?
you're doing is jumping up and down. You're
I'm
all
jumping up and
upset.
down.
You don't know anything. You're being insulting. You're being rude. But you want me to be nice to you. That's
I'm
how
not
you want
asking
them
you to be. I'm not
Two
asking you to be
ways,
nice. You
Okay.
haven't been nice to me. You violated my Fourth Amendment. You're telling me what to do and what I can't do. You told me I can't stay there when I have every legal right to sit there. See, you think that's all okay. Because once again, you have that gun and that badge, and you think that gives you the right to tell people what to do when you have no legal authority to do so. I'm gonna just go wait up in my vehicle. I don't
Listen to me. Do not go. I do not know what's in
I
your
didn't say
vehicle.
in. I did not say
You're
in.
gonna either wait here or you're gonna leave. You're not going in that near
I
that
said you
vehicle.
just- you can stand
You're
over
not
there.
going near that vehicle. I do not know what's in that vehicle, and the way you're acting right now, I don't trust you. You're gonna either stand here and wait for the supervisor, or you're gonna tell me you're gonna leave, and then we're gonna get in our car and leave.
Am I being detained?
How would you like to? What did I just tell you? You can leave, but then we're leaving. That's the bottom line. If you're going back to the vehicle, we're gonna
Go
get out.
ahead and leave. I'll wait for the supervisor.
She's not coming up here by herself. I can tell you that right now. She's not, and I would not allow her
I'm
to come
such a
up here by
scary guy. Is it okay if I put my ID back in my wallet?
Absolutely.
Okay. I have no weapons on me.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna make any furtive
Absolutely.
movements. Make sure you don't pull your weapon and okay?
Sir, you can put your ID back in your pocket.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna move now, okay?
Okay.
Has this officer explained to you what's happened?
It's my understanding someone called in about your vehicle being parked on private property.
Okay.
All right. And then that you weren't happy with the way they were handling it. So
Okay.
they called me.
May I ask you, is what I'm doing sitting here, is that a crime?
If this is private property, yes.
Okay. Where I draw the issue is when this deputy over here demanded under the threat of arrest for me to ID myself, when I clearly articulated to this deputy, by the U.S. Constitution, I'm guaranteed a Fourth Amendment right. Not only that, under Florida statute and Florida Constitution, under Florida statute, he must either have RAS or PC that I've either committed a crime or about to commit a crime. Okay.
This isn't a Terry stop.
Exactly. It wasn't a traffic, and I'm not required to produce ID. This is not a stop and ID state. In the state of Florida, under statute, in order for me to be required to ID myself, you must either suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, and you must either have PC of that or RAS. He kept on saying his reasonable suspicion was just suspicion. That's what he thinks his standard is for me to be required to ID. And I asked him, sir, suspicion of what crime?
Yes. I would like to, at this point, move on, though, and try to get this resolved. I'm sure you obviously have a job to do, right? You're on.
But how's it going to be resolved? I would like acknowledgement, and if you don't feel comfortable, I'd like for you to say so for the record.
Oh, you're not being detained, but anytime, like on a traffic stop, when we approach a vehicle and someone needs to get something out of their vehicle, we walk
Yeah,
with
but
them
it's
to the
over
curb.
with. He was done with me. He said I couldn't get back in my vehicle until he left. He doesn't have any right to control me
Okay.
like that.
All right, like I said, you're here on a job, and I know you said you won't tell us who you work for or whatever. Is there any way that we can confirm that you're here doing a private investigate? Or
I gave my
you're-
investigator's license.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm
Yes, so
sorry.
since I'm
Right, like I said, I want to
everything.
move forward at this point and try to
Yeah.
resolve it. Obviously, like I said, they were here on a call. She's, a mom, young kids. She's saying, I guess there's a bus
I
stop
have
right
no
down here.
problem with none of
Right.
that.
So when they show up and make contact with you, they have a right to ask for your identification.
Ask. They have a right to ask. He does not have a right to threaten me with arrest, which he did.
Well, honestly, right when they show up on a call and they ask for your ID and you refuse to give it to them when they're here for a lawful reason, that could be considered resisting without. That is an arrestable offense.
I know the subsection for resisting without violence. It's not. I have 2 cases going to the Florida Supreme Court. One of them is over this very same matter, which I'm about to sue the state for $5 million.
Knowing your rights is the ultimate game changer. These corrupt cops thought they could push people around, but instead they got a brutal lesson in the Constitution and a whole lot of embarrassment to go with it. And if you enjoyed watching these cops get humbled, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content exposing corruption. Let's hold them accountable one video at a time.